What's up everyone, my name is Alpha and today we're back with another Pokemon challenge video. Today we're on Pokemon Radical Red and today's challenge will be can I beat Pokemon Radical Red 4.0, the newest version of Radical Red, the newest update. Get yourself on it. I know you guys been commenting down below letting me know that this is a new update. So we're gonna do can I beat Pokemon Radical Red on a new update 4.0 with only Paldean Pokemon. I haven't played Pokemon Scarlet and Violet since like, I don't know, 6 months ago, 7 months ago. It's gonna be rough because I forgot a lot of the Pokemon, but I do remember which one are really good, and we're gonna try to beat the newest version of Radical Red. We're also gonna review the update, and then in the next video we're gonna probably do hardcore mode, so it's gonna be pretty tough. Get excited for that. So we can only beat Pokemon Radical Red with only Paldean Pokemon. We also play on minimum grinding. There's no items inside a battle, of course, since it's Radical Red. There's also no switching out. You're playing on set mode constantly, so it's gonna be pretty interesting. But also an additional rule to this will be each of my Pokemon will be nicknamed after you guys in the comments. So thanks so much for leaving a nickname in my previous challenge video. If you guys want to be nicknamed after a future Pokemon, just drop in the comments and hopefully I'll pick yours. And while you're down there, please don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to my channel. It means a lot to me. Anyways, let's get into the challenge video itself. So to begin off, we actually get to choose a Paldean starter, which I didn't think we get to this point, but I think we're at 3 years strong with Radical Red at this point. So we're gonna get ourselves a Fuecoco. So I actually don't really like the other starters. I only like Fuecoco, and Fuecoco is the starter I use in my Pokemon Scarlet playthrough. So from there, once we get our first Pokemon, we're also gonna use Fuecoco a little bit. We're also gonna implement our Dex All, which allows us to actually see every Pokemon in our Dex Nav. So we're able to encounter whatever Pokemon we want if we search out for a specific Pokemon. So our first Pokemon we're gonna catch is gonna be a Rellor, which, I mean, it's not my first choice, but I've definitely never used them. And in this situation, Rellor actually only evolves at level 16, which is just above the level cap. But it doesn't take like 4,000 steps and then evolving it afterwards. Our next Pokemon will be a Toedscool, which will be a really cool Pokemon. I want them in my Let's Play as well. We're actually going to move out and face off against this trainer in the Viridian Forest and get ourselves the Infinite Repel. Very useful, so we don't have random encounters. From there, we're going to Dex Snap and search out for a Nacli, which I'm sorry if you're a fan of Nacli. I would not be using Nacli that much. I'll use it for 1 or 2 fights at most. From there, once we get ourselves a Nacli, we're going to face off against Falkner. Falkner is the first mini-boss in the game. We're going to easily beat him down with our Rellor and Rollout. And then from there, Nacli will actually do a lot of things and knock out the Wattrel. From there, we're going to beat down Falkner. And then we're also going to talk to this NPC merchant, which gives us a free egg. And which gives us an egg which can have a Paldean Pokemon, which of course we're going to take. So we're going to get ourselves a Paldean Pokemon. The Pokemon we got from the egg, I don't know if it could be a legendary. We get ourselves an Orthworm, which is going to be an Earthworm, but it's just an Orth. From there, we're going to face off against Brock. Brock's going to be the first gym leader in the game. We're going to start the battle off against him using my Rellor. And Rellor against this Geodude is easy matchup for us. We're able to go for a Mud Shot and just 2-shot him as we're going to take a Bulldoze and also, unfortunately, a Rock Tomb, which is super effective. From there, he's going to switch out to his Onix, and I'm just going to sack my Rellor, which is fine. I switch out into my Toedscool next, which actually he's going to double into his Vroom. Which I'm allowed to go into my Fuecoco. Fuecoco has a purpose here at least and is able to knock out the Vroom. We're able to 2-shot into him as his next Pokemon will be an Arcan. From there, he's getting Rock Tomb and basically knock me out because I'm also poisoned. But from there, I can go into my Nacli, and Nacli should be able to knock out the Arcan. As he switched out to his Onix, I switch out to my Toedscool, which will take a Bulldoze and Absorb to knock out the Onix, get my HP back, and basically knock out the Onix. His final Pokemon will be his Arcan, which I'm just gonna sack my Toedscool and go out into my Nacli, and Nacli will knock him out in 2 shots as we're ready to beat down Brock and get our first gym badge. From there, we're gonna move out into Route 4. Right before Mount Moon, we're gonna get ourselves a Strudel, which I really don't know what this thing is, but it evolves into a Poison and Normal type, which is an interesting typing. But also, we're gonna get ourselves a Tandem Mouse, which will I forgot what it evolves into. It evolves into like a mouse. It evolves into Mousehold, which is household but mouses, and also holding hands. Such a stupid pun. From there, we're gonna move out into Mount Moon and clear through the Team Rocket members in here, and also face off against Archer, which is not a hard fight at all. From there, we're also gonna get the TM for Power Punch and also get our second Paldean egg, and our second Paldean egg will be a Tandem Mouse, which, I mean, I guess this one's better because he has this hidden ability. From there, we're going to face off against the Nugget Bridge, which isn't too difficult. We're able to clear him through pretty easily, and then face off against Misty next. Misty's going to be the water type gym leader in the game, and she's actually more improved now. She can start the battle off against us using a Frogadier. And actually, I think her team might be almost the exact same. I start the battle off against her using my Orthworm, which I'm able to go for a Rock Tomb against him as he goes for a Grass Knot. I'm just a pure Steel type, which is a little weird. Maybe Steel Ground makes a little more sense, but I'm actually thankful he's not Ground type, as I'm able to go for an Iron Head and then 2-shot into Frogadier, as he's going to switch out into his Starmie next. Should have went for a Rock Tomb, but he's going to eventually knock out my Orthworm. I lowered the speed of it though, and then I can switch out into my Mousehold. Mousehold does have Bullet Seed. I think it's like a knockoff Minccino. I forgot, this thing is actually pretty strong, but I'm not too sure how to use Mousehold. I know certain Pokemons from the start of the game of Pokemon Scarlet that Mousehold was really good. I know Palafin was really good, but I'm not too sure what made them good because I kind of forgot about them. But eventually, Mousehold is able to knock out the Starmie for us, which is very nice. And then from there, Clocksire, which is going to be Paldean Quagsire, do some chip damage against him and switch out into my old reliable Toadschool. Toadschool is able to go for a Stun Spore to paralyze it, goes down. From there, I can switch out into my Crocodile. Crocodile is able to do a lot of damage as I'm able to round, and I have Throat Spray, so I'm able to boost my special attack and then just chip down the Clocksire. Eventually, do I knock him out? Think I knock him. I do not knock him out. I do not knock out the Clocksire. I'm gonna switch out into my Rapska. I think that's what it's called. I'm looking at the Pokedex right now because I actually don't know his name. But Rapska is able to knock out the Clocksire for us and also take down the Frogadier as the Floatzel switches out. Rapska is able to Mudshot, slow down the Floatzel as it goes down, but I'll switch out into my Graphite. Is that what's name? I'm able to just 2-shot into the Floatzel and knock him out. Get my second gym badge of the game. Someone tell me how to pronounce the evolution of Strudel. Is it Graphite? But from there, I'm going to evolve my Toadschool into my Toadscruel, which is, the most reliable Pokemon, and you'll see why in a little bit. As we're able to move out and also catches us a Friddle, which we're going to evolve into an Espera. And also get our third Paldean egg, which is going to be a very good Pokemon. We hatched the egg. It's a Palafin, or Venison, but we're going to evolve it into a Palafin very soon after we face off against the Electro Gym, of course. We're going to move out into the SSN, clear through the SSN, obviously, and then move out and face off against Lieutenant Surge next. Lieutenant Surge will be the third gym leader in the game. We're going to start the battle off against him using my Toadscruel. From there, I'm able to go for a Mega Drain as he switched out into his Bellibolt, which I really don't understand this Pokemon. Is it tanky? Is it not tanky? It doesn't do a lot of damage as we're able to force him out into his Manectric. And this thing could probably kill me. So I go for a Mudshot, trying to just hopefully live it. I live a Flame Burst, Mudshot him, almost knocks him out. He goes to 1 HP. And then from there, I'm going to switch out into my Crocodile. Crocodile is able to go for a Flamethrower. It switched out into his Raichu, and I burned the Raichu, so he's on a timer. He can't go for Nasty Plot because he can go down eventually. And then from there, I could go out to my Espera. I take a Discharge, which is terrible. But I could get my Citrus Berry and then Lumina Crash and then knock out the Raichu. Also do a lot of damage against the Bellibolt. Actually, will knock out the Bellibolt as I still get a bunch of speed boosts. From there, you can switch up to his Manectric. He outspeeds me, I think, which is unfortunate. But I'm able to get a Lumina Crash on the Pincurchin. No, I don't. I get paralyzed. Of course, I get paralyzed. But from there, I go out into my Toadscruel, get a Mega Drain off against the Pincurchin, and I'm able to just 2-shot him, get my HP back with the Citrus Berry, and from there he's going to switch out into his Palnut, which kind of is scary, but I still have 4 Pokemon. I go out to my Earthworm, take an Ice Punch, and then go for Bodos to lower his speed, and then I'm going to sack my Earthworm and then go into my Rapska. Rapska is able to knock out the Palnut, and he actually got rid of his Vikavolt, as we're able to knock out his Manectric with my Rapska as well, get my 3rd gym badge in the game, and then we're going to move back out into Cerulean City, where we get ourselves a Hisuian Growlithe, which I didn't realize at the time that is Hisuian. I'm like, oh wait, this is a new Growlithe. I'm like, wait. I just realized that. I'm glad I only used it for 1 gym battle, but it's not a Paldean Pokemon. This is how bad I am. I completely forgot that there's like so many games we had last year. A Hisuian Growlithe is not Paldean Pokemon. I don't think it's in Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, so I'm not too sure why I have it on my team. I actually evolved it and used it for the next gym. I only used it for 1 gym though, so please don't disqualify me. This was just an accident. I just completely forgot that it's not part of the Paldean Dex. From there, we're going to face off against Erika next. We're going to start the battle off against Erika's Rillaboom. I use my Skeledridge. Skeledridge is able to go for a Flamethrower as he U-turns into his Meganium. I'm able to just 2-shot him with a Hyper Voice and also get my Throat Spray. From there, he's going to switch out to his Hisuian Electrode, which, obviously not Paldean. I'm not too sure how I recognize Hisuian Electrode as Hisuian, but not Hisuian Growlithe. Just Growlithe was Paldean. Weapons the Flamethrower and knock out the Electrode. From there, she can switch out into her Meowscarda. which I'm able to not survive a knockoff, but I switch out into my Hisuian Arcanine, which I go for a Flare Blitz and knock out the Meowscarada, which I actually barely knock him out. That's the only thing. I think I replace Hisuian Arcanine later. I'm gonna switch out into my Graphi, and then from there I could 2-shot into the Rillaboom using him. And from there, Erika's final Pokemon will be a Mega Venusaur. I'm able to get a Parting Shot and switch out into my Earthworm, which will be able to go for 2 Bulldozes to lower his speed. Actually 1v1s it, so I'm not sure why Venusaur not able to knock him out, but Earthworm's able to knock out Mega Venusaur as we're able to beat him down. And then from there, we're going to face off against Giovanni. I lied. I used Hisuian Arcanine against Giovanni, but that's the final battle. I promise that's the final battle. It didn't even do any damage, I don't think. But we have to beat down Giovanni, move out, go into Lavender Tower, get the Pokeflute, and then face off against Morty. We want the Shadow Ball TM, but then I realized, hold up, Morty has Ceruledge, which is a Paldean Pokemon. I'm like, wait a second, this is so cool. I want this Pokemon. So after we beat Morty and get the TM for Shadow Ball, we can go out into Route 25 and get ourselves a Charcadet, and immediately evolve that into a Ceruledge, because this thing's so amazing. Throw away Hisuian Arcanine. This is why I threw away Hisuian Arcanine. If there wasn't Ceruledge, I might have just kept Hisuian Arcanine and just completely forgot that it's not actually Paldean. From there, we also get ourselves a Frigibax, and then evolve it into Arctobax, and then eventually into a Baxcalibur, which I'm still iffy about. I'm not too sure if I like this Pokemon at all, but it's still on my team. So from there, we're actually going to face off against a rival in Silphco and then beat him down. And then face off against Giovanni and also beat him down. So, you know, back-to-back wins for us. And then from there, we're going to face off against Sabrina next. Sabrina's going to be the 5th gym leader in the game. We're going to start the battle off against her in her double battle fight against her Hatterene and Indeedee, using my Ceruledge and also Palafin. Which from here, Palafin might be the best Pokemon in the world. So we're going to start the battle by going for Shadow Claw and then flip turning with my Palafin. If you guys don't know, Palafin actually goes into hero mode if it switches out, if it enters battle and then switches out. So it's a weird mechanic, but it's very strong. As we're able to knock out the Hatterene, avoid the Trick Room, obviously. And then from there, the Indeedees can go for Expanding Force, which does a lot of damage to us, which is fine. And I know Ursaluna's going to go for Protect, so I'm going to attack the Indeedee, but I used a Ghost move against the normal type. I completely forgot Indeedee is the normal type. As we're able to get a special attack boost on my Skeledredge and a special attack drop on Indeedee. And then from there, I could go for a Bitter Blade and then go for a Flamethrower against the Indeedee to knock him out as well. From there, the Ursalunas can not do anything. Okay, Ursaluna just didn't do anything. We're able to go for a Shadow Claw against the Gardevoir and then also Flamethrower against him just to make sure it goes down. We crit with Shadow Claw, we knock out the Gardevoir, and we're able to go for a Flamethrower against the Ursaluna as it's going to knock out my Skeledredge. From there, we're able to go into my Palafin Hero Mode against the Porygon 2 and Ursaluna. We're going to obviously double attack into the Porygon 2 since the Ursaluna is going to go down. We're able to close combat and Bitter Blade to knock out the Porygon 2. Bitter Blade recovers some HP and it's going to be very useful later on. Sabrina's final Pokemon will be a Brute Bonnet, which we're able to go for a Bitter Blade against him. I just double attack into him as we know Ursaluna is going to go down with the burn. As we're able to take, Baxcalibur is able to take a Facade. Not well though, it's at 1 HP basically, but we're able to survive a Facade, knock out the Ursaluna, and get ourselves the 5th gym badge in the game. Not surprising, a bug in the game. If you actually try to change your nature from your Baxcalibur, I'm not too sure if this is all Game Corner Pokemon, but it's only specific to Baxcalibur. So I'm like, okay, it just froze my game. And my last save was in front of Sabrina, so we have to rematch Sabrina. Okay, same battle basically. Once we beat Sabrina, we save and then retested it. It's only Baxcalibur, so I can't switch the nature of him. Good thing it's not like a terrible nature, it's a lax nature, so at least it's not detrimental to me. From there, I guess we just can't switch natures. From there, I'm going to go into Cycling Road and clear through the Cycling Road pretty easily. Go into Future City, also go into the Safari Zone, beat a rival Brendan, and also get an HM for Surf. Just to know, I didn't say a certain HM, that means I forgot it, and I'll be back later on. So from there, we're going to actually move back into Pewter City and face off against Brock. To enter the gym, you actually have to rematch some gym leaders, so it's kind of annoying. So they actually updated this from the hardcore mode. Instead of going to Koga's gym immediately, you have to go back and face off against all the other gym leaders, which in this situation, it wasn't too difficult as we're able to beat Brock, Misty, and also Lieutenant Surge once again, which, again, super easy. We're able to clear through them, and Toadscool is so cool. This thing so tanky and so speedy too. I don't know why this thing is so good. From there, we're going to face up against Koga next. Koga is going to be the 6th gym leader in the game, and we're going to start the battle off against him using my Baxcalibur against his Swellow. We're going to go for an Ice Cold Crash as he U-turns into his Iron Valiant, and it doesn't do too much. This thing was going to be a lot stronger as he's going to knock me off, knock on my Citrus Berry, but I'm gonna Icicle Crash into an Ice Shard to knock out his Iron Valiant. Then he switches out to his Greninja. I'm like, wait a second, he can't one-shot me. I'm gonna go for a Glaive Rush. One-shot him most likely. He's Dark Pose, no flinches. Glaive Rush one-shots him, and I'm like, okay, Koga's throwing at this point. Then he sends out his Drapion. I'm like, Ice Shard, get some chip damage. Switch out into my Palafin just to get the hero mode. For some reason, he switched out to his Selgor. Allows me to go out into my Ledge, get a weak armor boost, and then from there I could Bitter Blade. And since I have a Focus Sash on my Ledge, I'm able to two-shot into the Toxicity and have like no worries. As he goes out to his Drapion next, Bitter Blade twice to knock him out, a survive with a Focus Sash, get another speed boost. This is a crazy Pokemon. Bitter Blade to knock out a Drapion and then knock out the Swallow and get my HP back up as well. Oh wait, I don't knock out the Swallow, but you can see where I'm going with this. Palafin's able to Aqua Jet and knock out the Swallow and also the Selgor, as we're able to beat down Koga and get the 6th gym badge in the game. Now from there we can go out into Seafoam Island and we're able to get ourselves, well, Aspera is destroying everything as you can see, and then from there we're able to get ourselves the Choice Scarf, and we can go out and also face off against Jasmine in Cinnabar Island. With Skeledredge's new move called Torch Song, every single time we attack we get a special attack boost, and with a Choice Scarf we can just keep that going with a plus speed and plus attack boost. So we're able to destroy everything on Jasmine's team and also get a Choice Pen that we actually don't use, so we're just going to show off that. So from there we're going to go into Cinnabar Island's gym, and in this gym, completely different. Just like the hardcore mode, it's constant sun, so water type Pokemon are not very effective at all. We still knock out most of the Pokemon with our water type Palafin, but just because Palafin's really strong, it's the outlier. Most of the time, it's not really good to have a water type Pokemon in this gym. Now before we actually face off against Blaine, we're going to go back and face off against Chuck. We're going to clear through Chuck and then get ourselves the Focus Sash. I didn't actually mention this earlier, but this is how we got the Focus Sash from Chuck. And then from there, we're going to face off against Blaine next. Blaine is going to be the 7th gym leader in the game, and we're going to start the battle off against him using my Palafin. For some reason, he uses a More Cannon against me using his Amarok. I am able to survive it and then flip turn against his Executor. Go out to my Skeledredge as he goes out to his Typhlosion, as I'm able to Torch Song into him and break his Soul Blaze. So he's actually just really weak now. I get a +3 with Torch Song. From there, he's going to actually Mega Evolve using his Charizard to Charizard Y. I'm able to get a lot of damage off against him as he's going to knock me out, but I go out into my Palafin, Jet Punch, which is basically a stronger Aqua Jet, to knock him out. And then from there, he's going to switch out into his Executor, which I forgot has Chlorophyll, so he's going to outspeed me, knock me out. But I go out into my Ledge, Bitter Blade to knock him out super easily. From there, he's going to go out to his Scovillion, which I'm able to just two-shot him as well, actually one-shot him. And his next Pokemon will be a Slitherlink, where Photosynthesis is a cool Pokemon if you ever play Scarlet and Violet. They have these past and future form Pokemon, which are kind of cool, but I'm able to just one-shot it, and his final Pokemon will be his Amarok, which I also one-shot, as we're able to beat down Blaine pretty easily. And from there, we're going to move out into Cerulean Cave, where we're going to face off against both Archer and Ariana. We're going to actually one-try them pretty easily. Now, that's actually the end of our good times, because we're going to face off against Giovanni with Lance as our teammate, and a lot of times we lose. There is not, like, this is the worst battle. I don't know why it got so hard. I think possibly the AI, they switch up the AI with our teammate, because the Dragapult on our team isn't actually that good for some reason. It's not that smart, and he keeps attacking everything besides the Mewtwo. Like, it's super annoying because my teammate's pretty much detrimental. I burned the Scrafty so he could just focus on one side. He refuses to attack the same side as me, and that used to not be a problem in the previous update, so maybe they tweaked it, I don't know why. But from there, we're able to eventually beat down Giovanni to clear through Cerulean Cave and face off against the 8th gym leader in the game. We're able to face off against Claire next. Claire is the 8th gym leader. She can start the battle off against us. We can still use the taunt boost. We're able to hit the Aerodactyl with an Icicle Crash and an Ice Shard to knock him out. And then Claire's going to switch out to her Magearna, which I'm able to Torch Song with my Skeledredge, which two-shot it. Her next Pokemon will be a Roaring Moon, which I think is a stupid name, but you know what? It is a Pokemon now. It's another prehistoric Pokemon, as it's going to knock out my Skeledredge, but I must go out into my Baxcalibur. Baxcalibur is able to two-shot it into him pretty easily. And then from there, Claire is going to switch out to her Duraludon, which is going to G-Max evolve. And this is the same day that was announced that Duraludon has another evolution, by the way. But anyways, from there, we're going to go out to my Ledge. We're going to Destiny Bonnet, let him knock me out, which is nice. From there, I go out to my Palafin to get a flip turn out. Survive a Draco Meteor, which is surprising, and then switch out into my Espera. I'm going to Lumina Crash into the Dragonite twice, and then knock him out, basically. From there, he's going to switch out into her Naganadel, which I'm going to one-shot, and we're able to beat down Claire super easily. Now, from there, we're going to face off against our rivals, which isn't too difficult. We beat down Blue, and also beat down Brendan. Both very easy battles. Yeah, look at it. I didn't get the hero mode on my Palafin. I beat down Brendan. From there, this is the biggest test, my inability to remember. I forgot to get the HM for strength, and I have to go fly back to Fuchsia City, and then I gotta come back. From there, we're gonna clear through Victory Road, which isn't too difficult, and now we're gonna move on into the Elite Four. We actually lose to the Elite Four because I kind of forgot to get something. So, firstly, I'm gonna lose on purpose. Well, I kind of lose just to lose, but I also go back to Celadon City and buy a bunch of TMs, and then finally move back and face off against the Elite Four for real this time. We're gonna face off against the Elite Four. We're gonna start the battle off against Lorelei, use my Palafin, also my Toad Scroll, which we haven't used in a little bit now. I'm able to go for a Spore against the Polygraph and flip turn out into my Baxcalibur. Now Baxcalibur is able to go for Dragon Dance, as I'm able to go for a Giga Drain against the Polygraph to make sure it goes down, which works. And then her next Pokemon will be a Walking Wake, which is the Suicune prehistoric version. We also got announced the Raikou prehistoric version, which is ugly. It has a long neck. The Walking Wake just goes for a Protect for no reason, as we go for a Glaive Rush and Giga Drain to knock out the Kyogre that switched in, so that's pretty nice. From there, we could just target down the Walking Wake, because I feel like that's the biggest threat to my team. We're able to knock out the Walking Wake, but my Toad Screw will go down to the Iron Bundle, and the Iron Bundle sounds like a stupid name. But anyways, I go out to my Espera against her Mega Swampert and her Iron Bundle, as my Baxcalibur goes down, but Espera is able to do a lot of damage against the Swampert, and there's no rain for some reason. Do you guys realize that there's no rain? The Swampert knocks out the Iron Bundle, as I have my Hero Form Palafin against her Sleeping Politoed and 1 HP Swampert. I'm able to just Bitter Blade it into the Politoed and knock out. Oh, now it's raining. It was weird. It wasn't raining for a second, right? Oh, because Politoed switched in. Oh, I guess the rain just disappeared, but we're able to knock out the Swampert. Politoed goes down as well as we beat down Lorelei. Now we're going to move out and face off against Bruno next. Bruno is going to be the second Elite Four member in the game. We're going to start the battle off against him using my Palafin. We're going to Jet Punch into the Inferno twice just to, you know, bait in. We have Supersonic to bait in the taunt. That's how bad the AI is. From there, he's going to switch out into his Como, which I'm going to switch out into my Espera. Espera has a speed boost stat, but unfortunately it's going to go down to the Como, which is unfortunate. From there, I switch out to my Ceruledge, which gets a Swords Dance off against him. For some reason, the Como just decides to go for another Clanger Soul, so I go for a Bitter Blade against him and just knocks him out. So that was bad for him. From there, he goes out to his Urshifu, which I go for a Bitter Blade. I survive an attack against him, and I also get a speed boost. I actually get a +2, right? I get +2 speed boost. So Bitter Blade would knock out the Urshifu. I was expecting to outspeed the Iron Valiant, but unfortunately Thunderbolt would knock me out. I go out to my Toad Screw next, which will 2-shot into the Iron Valiant, which is very nice. And from there, he's going to switch out into Zacian, which I'm like, you know what? Hopefully I could get a Spore off. He does not let me get a Spore off, as I have to switch out into my Palafin Hero mode. I go for a Wave Crash against him. I survive a Wild Charge from the Zacian, which is crazy. Zacian's go down to red HP as I'm able to Jet Punch and knock him out. His next Pokemon will be a Lucario, which does survive a Jet Punch, but he weakens himself with a close combat. And my Skyladge would knock him out with a Torch Song, which is very nice. From there, we end up beating Bruno, and now we're going to move on and face off against Agatha next. Agatha is the next Elite Four member of the game. We're going to start the battle off against her using my Palafin once again. We're going to use the Taunt Trick, which is forcing the Zoroark to use Taunt against me. I'm going to Wave Crash and Jet Punch to knock him out. From there, she can switch out into her Marshadow, which I don't really have an answer for. I go out to my Toad Scroll, which survives a close combat just barely. And I'm able to Spore into the Marshadow and then try to use Hex on Fluttermane, which, I mean, does a little damage, but it doesn't really do too much. As from there, I'm just going to sack my Toad Scroll. From there, I switch out to my Skeledredge, which almost knocks out the Fluttermane. I know this thing's broken as well, but Fluttermane would knock out my Skeledredge. But lucky enough, I do have Jet Punch on my Palafin, which would knock out the Fluttermane, and then her next Pokemon will be her actual Gengar. Her Mega Gengar comes out. I survive a Sludge Wave just barely. Not barely. This thing's really tanky. Why? Wave Crash to knock out the Mega Gengar. And then from there, she's going to switch out into her Shinpow, which will knock me out, which is unfortunate. From there, I'm going to switch out into my Baxcalibur, which will go for a Swords Dance. Survive a Sacred Sword pretty well. And then from there, I could Glaive Rush. Unfortunately, I get critted. Oh my god, Shinpow is so annoying. But I go out to my Ceruledge next. I go for a Bitter Blade against him, and I get a speed boost with my Focus Sash. So it works out pretty well for us, as we're to knock out the Shinpow. And then from there, Agatha switched out to her Goldango, which goes down to 1-shot as well. Her next Pokemon will be a Marshadow, which also goes down in 2 Bitter Blades, as we're to beat down Agatha with my Ceruledge. Again, this thing's so broken. I was thinking about replacing it earlier, but this thing's so broken. From there, we're going to face off against Lance next. Lance is going to be the 4th Elite Four member of the game. We're going to start the battle off against him using my Excalibur just to bait in the taunt, obviously. Icicle Crash into Ice Shard to knock out the Aerodactyl. From there, he's going to switch out into his Melmetal, which I got to my Skelledredge. Take the double Iron Bash and then switch out into my Toadscrew in the middle of that to take the Earthquake. And then I could Spore into the Melmetal and then go for an Earth Power as he switched out to his Dragonite, which is unfortunate. But I go out into my Excalibur to go for an Icicle Crash into Ice Shard to knock out the Dragonite. From there, he's going to switch out to his Dialga, which only spams Roar time. So I decided well, I thought I was going to decide to stay in, but I switched out to my Skelledredge, live it with 1 HP, but he's going to roar me out. As I go for an Earth Power with my Toadscrew, he's going to roar me out once again. Palafin gets, I don't know, I should have just went for like a Wave Crash or something, because it's going to go for Roar time. It knocks out my Skelledredge, which is fine. I then go out into my Sarilege. Sarilege is going to go for Bitter Blade and then take a Roar time. Now comes in my Espera, which will go for Shadow Ball. Eventually, it gets him down to low enough HP, which I could go for close combat with my Palafin and knock him out at least. From there, he's going to switch up to his Mega Salamence, which is shiny now. I decided to switch out into my Toadscrew just to sack it, get some chip damage, go out to my Excalibur, survive a Double Edge, go for Dragon Dance, and then go for Ice Shard and knock him out. And from there, he's going to switch out to his Iron Jugulis, which Ice Shard will get him down to low HP as I switch out into my Palafin, which will go for close combat to knock him out. And that, oh no, there's one more Pokemon. His last Pokemon will be his Sleeping Melmetal, which doesn't wake up, as I made a 2-shot into him with close combat. I was ready to beat down Lance, and now we move on into the final battle of the game. We're going to face off against our rival Blue next. Blue is going to be the champion of the game. We're going to start the battle off against him using my Palafin. Palafin's able to go for a flip turn against the Pheromosa as I switch out to my Excalibur next. Ice Shard to knock out the Pheromosa, as his next Pokemon will be a Metagross, his Mega Metagross. I decided to switch out into my Sarilege, which works out pretty well as I'm able to avoid his first attack and then go for a Bitter Blade. Activates my Weak Armor, boost up my speed, and then Bitter Blade just outspeed him at this point, regain my HP. He goes out to his Koraidon next. I Bitter Blade into him, he goes for Swords Dance. He keeps going for Swords Dance. I'm like, at this point, you're going to die. He goes for Dragon Claw. I survive with 1 HP and then Bitter Blade to knock him out. After that, he has to go out to his Eternatus. I have Destiny Bond. I outspeed him. He goes for Meteor Beam and he goes down as well. So, Sarilege just destroyed like 3 of his Pokemon and now he's down to the last 2. He then goes out to his Yveltal, which I could Torch Song into him. He's gonna knock me out, which is fine. Allows me to go out to my Excalibur. As long as I don't get slept by this Dark Hole, I should be fine, and I don't. So Icicle Crash into Ice Shard would knock out Yveltal. As he goes out to his final Bone will be a Ditto. As he Dittos my Excalibur, he's getting Glaive Rush me, which is a little annoying because he knocks out the rest of my team, kinda. So lucky enough, Toadscrew's tanky enough to go for survive a Glaive Rush. He didn't use his Ice moves because he is Choice Scarf. As I spore him down, and then I go for Giga Drains against him, go for Earth Powers. Eventually, I'm able to knock him out. He stays asleep pretty much the whole time, as ready to beat down Blue, and yeah, beat down Radical Red 4.0 on pretty much our first attempt. It wasn't too much difficult. I think we lost a few times against Lorelei, and then we lost a few times against Giovanni, but more or not, it's a pretty simple run, pretty nice run, pretty easy run. I want to say thank you so much for watching all the way to now. I hope you all enjoyed this video. If you guys can, please leave a like and subscribe to my channel. It means a lot to me. And you guys cannot wait for the next week episode. We're going to try this on a hardcore mode. So this is going to be pretty interesting. So anyways, I'll see you guys then.